Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. I'm back here at Walker Ford, sunny Clearwater, Florida, because guess what? We have a Ranger that has an all-new package that I think a lot of you will be interested in. This is a 2019 Ford Ranger, finished in that beautiful magnetic gray with the blackout package. So let's talk a little bit about the Ford Ranger. The Ford Ranger is that go-to if you want a mid-size Ford pickup truck. There once was upon a time where that truck category was called the compact truck. Now it's mid-size. This truck is going up against the Toyota Tacoma, Nissan Frontier, Chevy Silverado, GMC Canyon. And what's happened is that the truck has grown a little bit since it was last sold here in the United States. It was all the way back in 2012. We haven't had a Ford Ranger. Now, one thing to be sure of is that this Ranger has been sold as other vehicles in other countries in that mid-sized truck segment. So let's go ahead, dive into the all-new. This is the first time, like I said, 2019 Ford Ranger. This is an XLT with the blackout package. Right off the bat, I'm gonna go back to that color. I think magnetic gray on this truck fits it perfectly. Ford is taking a very unique approach with their headlight design. This design looks very similar to what's on the 2020 Explorers and some of their other models. I like the way it's blacked out inside. I am gonna zonk it though, because I would like to see some LED lighting instead of what we have on this particular one. Now you do have fog lamps, nicely placed. I like the flat black, really gives it a nice touch. And here we go, blackout. When we talk about that blackout package, this grille is totally blacked out. You have the large Ford emblem. And I think that with the front of the Ranger, the way that the style of the grille is, there's a lot going on, but it all makes sense. You have functional on both sides, that open area in the center. As we drop down, large open lower grille area with no actual mesh or anything. And what you're looking at, remember, this is that 2.3 liter EcoBoost engine, intercooled turbocharged engine that's gonna get maximum flow to the front of the truck. Now, you have these nice sturdy tow hooks to pull you out if you're gonna get stuck. And on the standard Ranger, this is not a 4x4, but on your standard 4x2, this is gonna be 8.4 inches of ground clearance. That increases if you go the 4x4 route. Now, when you go up on the hood, I'm digging it. I like the style of almost this twin raised area, nice body lines. In this segment of the market, you really got to create personality because, like I said, it is flooded with tons of competition, and there is word of Ram bringing back the Dakota to the mid-sized truck market. Now, as we come around the bend, I do like the way the bumpers match with the actual rest of the body. This is another blackout piece of the puzzle. Special wheels, totally blacked out. There's an 18-inch wheel, 265 on the width, 60 on the series sidewall. Now, one thing I like about the Rangers is how they sit. This is a non-4x4, but you can see how much space there is between the top of the tire and the inside of the fender there. I'm gonna have Tom kind of zoom on in and you can see all the suspension bits and pieces. And as a car enthusiast, that's what I like to see. I like to see those inner workings. As we continue into the fender, you do have this nice tasteful fender vent. Tells you that this is an XLT trim, and of course, it's blacked out. It's the blackout package, kind of makes sense. Here's one area I think they missed the mark. Side mirrors, they're flat black. What they should have done was they should have either gloss blacked these suckers or went with the magnetic gray color, the actual color of the truck on the mirrors. It just doesn't blend as nicely as you would think having the flat on the sides. Now, as we continue down the side of the truck, I want you to take your eyes and I want you to go down, because this is another part of the option, is that running board, the blackout. So it's nice. It's not just a bunch of, emblems or vents and stuff. You actually get the wheels, you actually get the running boards. Nice touches. We continue our work our way back. This is another zonk. Missed opportunity. This should be magnetic gray. I don't know why they went with the flat black. I know it's an XLT, but with the package, maybe gloss black. I think it would, just like I said, I think it would blend everything together. Now, as we get into the bed of this Ranger, Tom will go ahead and show you. You can see the actual frame and the suspension bits there. Lots of space, and that's the wonderful thing is that this already has a good height to it, but you get that 4x4 option, and you'll really be able to get down to your favorite area to put your canoes in or whatever type of outdoor activities you're doing. Back into the truck, I like the tailgate, the taillight design. full metal and rear bumpers. This one, you can see, does not have a tow package, very clear underneath, but that's something that in addition you could go with a tow package. When it comes to release, it does not have a soft release tailgate, but what it does have is the spray-in bed liner. That is part of the blackout package. You have your manual sliding rear window as well. You do have 4 tie downs locations. I would like to see a little bit more, and I would like to see interior bed LED lighting, at least one. But why don't we go ahead, we talked about the outside of the truck. If you haven't seen it yet, let's go see that EcoBoost motor underneath the hood. All right guys, we got the hood popped on the all new 2019 Ford Ranger XLT. The nice thing is, if you hate looking for what is the best engine option and transmission option, you only have it one way on the Ford Ranger, and it makes sense. That's that 2.3 liter EcoBoost motor. That's the same engine that's seen in the Mustang EcoBoost and also that outgoing Ford Focus RS. 270 horsepower, 310 pound-feet of torque. It does have a special truck tune on it compared to what's in the Mustang. The wonderful thing is it is mated to a 10-speed automatic transmission. If you're worried about MPGs, 21 in the city, 26 in the highway. What I like about it is that, hey, you open up the hood, you can clearly see the engine, ignition packs, coils and everything, real easy to see. Now, if you do take this up to the next trim level, they do give you a tasteful engine cover. But why don't we go ahead, start up this 2.3 liter EcoBoost and see what it sounds like. All right guys, we're inside the 2019 Ford Ranger XLT with that blackout package. And I know you're probably saying, Joe, I like this truck. I like that color. I like this blackout package. How much is it? MSRP around $35,900. Let's see what you get for the money. To the door panels. Now the door panels have nothing but hard material on them. You do have cup holders at the bottom and a nice little pocket, but I don't like that cloth area. I wish they would stop putting cloth on door panels. I am zonking that. What I do like though is the way they used a little bit of silver near the top of the door panel where the switch gear is to lock and unlock the doors, because as you close the door, it's gonna match very well with what's going on here. I like the Ranger name embossed into the material, but hard plastic everywhere you touch. You have a little cubby here that you could put some Twinkies and roast them, because I'm telling you right now, this dash is about 90 degrees. You got your infotainment system, 8-inch screen. You can get your climate controls, dual climate, which is very nice. Getting your audio, all that kind of stuff. Very fast acting and very easy to use. Now, as we drop down, you got a little bit of a traffic jam of buttons, but it makes sense. Draw a fake line, imaginary line here. Radio controls, everything south of that is gonna be AC controls. If you don't wanna do it here, you could do it on the screen. 2 12 volts, which is really nice, with lids. I do like the covers. 2 USBs and a nice little cubby, and I like the way that the center console kind of slides down like that to help you gain access. You got some different switch gear here, very hard plastic. I wish, I'm zonking this, I wish they would have used a different type of plastic because it doesn't need to be gloss. It just, I don't know, for something on this, it's reminding me of a rental car. The shifter, this is gonna be controlling that 10-speed automatic transmission. I'm telling you right now, this 10-speed shifts like a hot knife going through butter. I do like the leather boot with the contrast stitching. You got 2 cup holders, good old-fashioned e-brake with a leather boot, just like over here with the contrast stitching, and then probably one of the softest armrests in the mid-size truck segment. Open it up, you got a little pencil tray for your pencils for school, nice usable space, and then these seats. They are full cloth, but they're very durable, and I do like the texture and the design to them, and they're very comfortable. The bottom portion is electric, the back portion is manual. Why don't you come on over to the driver's side, the business end, and I'll show you behind the wheel of this 2019 Ford Ranger. All right, guys, one of the things I wanted to show you that I forgot to earlier because we were doing the passenger side are those buttons. You see that little keypad there? That is part of the blackout package. That's gonna allow you to have access into your truck without having the key on you or the key fob. Now, I know you're probably wondering, well, why would I not wanna have the key fob on me? Let's say you're going canoeing and you don't wanna drop your key fob accidentally in the water. You can leave it on the shore, somebody might come and take it, or you could actually leave it in the car and use your code to lock the door. Nice touch. You'll notice on the blackout package, you also get these nice sill additions where it has the Ranger name into it. Very nice, almost like a black chrome finish. And then, like I said, I'm 6 feet tall, plenty of headroom. I like the lighter headliner in here because it kind of opens everything up. Steering wheel has a great thickness. I like the softness of the leather, that crisscross contrast stitching, little bit of the silver, and the buttons are tastefully placed. Dash. Layout is very simple, very easy to understand. You have an analog tach, analog speedometer, and then you have your info section in the center that you could toggle through all sorts of information, which is nicely done. Looking out over the hood is really, really great visibility, the way the A-pillars are pulled out. But why don't we go ahead, check out that back seat and see how your passengers are gonna be. But before I do that, I'm gonna shut this off because I wanna show you this does have a key ignition. Here's the key fob with the Ford logo on it. I'm gonna spin it around, and then there you have your remote start, lock and unlock, and then your panic button. But I just wish it had keyless entry, especially for $35,000. But why don't we go ahead now, as I look for the ignition, start it up. Let's go check out that back seat. All right, guys, back seat time in a mid-size Ford Ranger. This is where things get a little rough. It is tight back here. The good news is I did not slide the seats forward to show you that if a 6-foot driver is sitting in the driver's seat, this is how much room you have if you're 6 feet tall. I do like the way that Ford cuts out the backs of the seat just to give you a little bit more leg room, which is nice. You do have on this one, and I'm very happy to see, you have a home power source and 2 USBs and a nice little shelf to put your phone while it's charging or whatnot. I'm sitting pretty upright in this Ford Ranger, and the seats are actually pretty comfortable for back seats. To check out the center armrest, you're gonna go ahead and yank on that. 2 cup holders, nice soft material, goes right back. And like I said, this one has the optional sliding rear window, easily done with defroster built in. But why don't we get to the best part? Enough talking about this truck, let's go ahead and drive it. All right, guys, we left Walker Ford. We're in the 2019 Ford Ranger XLT on throttle. The 10-speed drops down, EcoBoost propelling us. I'm telling you, you gotta drive one of these Rangers. As you can see, Florida drivers just pulling out. You gotta drive one of these Rangers, because that's the one thing that's gonna surprise you right away, is that 2.3 liter EcoBoost. Even though it's been detuned, horsepower-wise, from the Mustang setup, it still has plenty of grunt, and it's been more tuned for what you're doing, driving an actual truck. So, very nice sound. When it comes to the sound of the interior, they actually pump some sound into the interior cabin, which actually adds to the experience. Very smooth though. The 10-speed is such a great transmission. I like the thickness of the steering wheel. Looking out over the hood, especially on a Ranger, because there's a little bit of a curve down to it, it gives you a nice clean view. The only thing that I wish that it had, since this is a blackout package, I wish something inside was a little extra different because of that package. It seems that everything about that package is exterior. The wheels, the grille, the running boards, the keypad to get in, the bed liner. I wish there was just at least something on the inside that made me say, hey, I have a special trim package that not every Ranger has. Other than that, I would like to see keyless entry at $36,000. To me, that is a zonk to have a key ignition. And some of the material, like I showed you earlier, around the shifter, it's a little bit on the more hard plastic side, which they didn't even attempt to try to make it look not so hard plastic. So I would like to see something a little different there. But when it comes to connectivity, definitely A+. When it comes to safety, you're getting all that great Ford 360 protection, which is really good. And then the seats are super, super comfortable. Back is a little bit cramped, but up front here, especially being the driver, very, very comfortable. And I enjoy driving these Rangers because guess what? It doesn't drive like a truck. And I know that may sound like a weird statement, but it's actually a good statement because it's so easy to drive and so comfortable. Guys, acceleration test, here we go. Dead stop on throttle. Somebody's walking across the street. Very, very smooth with the acceleration. Steering input, I like the feedback that you do get from behind the wheel. And I think that the way that the Ranger sits, not only does it look good aesthetically, but also from a driving perspective, you do have a little bit higher vantage point than some of the other vehicles around you. Now, is it as high as an F-150? No, of course not. But it's, I think, a great compromise between car and truck, and I really think that that's where Ford hit the nail on the head. Overall, AC controls easy to get to, whether you want to use actual buttons. If you're having a phobia buttons, you could use the simulated buttons on the touch screen, dual climate. Everything else is properly set up. All right, guys, let me do a little acceleration test on throttle coming out of this turn. Really gets the power down very nicely. You can hear that sound being pumped in. It does not sound like an inline-4 turbocharged engine by any means. So that is really wonderful how the engineers were able to work around that. And it's very light on its feet, I'm telling you. I want to try to get to this turn up here and show you the handling characteristics of the Ranger, just so you have an idea, this being a non-4x4 setup, how she handles on the brakes into this left-hand bend. Very, very smooth, very good feedback. Guys, hopefully this gave you a nice overview of the Ford Ranger. We're gonna wrap this one up and get back to Walker Ford, so I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, been another amazing time here at Walker Ford. Definitely gotta thank Frank Walker, Weston Walker, Tracy, Benji, Mark, Austin, Greg, Denise. Everybody here is so amazing, and they love Rady's Rides as much as you do. Do you love this Ford Ranger? Leave a comment in the comment section. Have they done enough with the new blackout package to really kind of make it stand out from the rest of the midsize truck crowd? That's the big question. Leave your comments in the comment section if you want to keep seeing more things like this, or if you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile coming back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Rady's Rides family. If you want to help us keep making great content just for you on the channel, click the link in the description, get yourself some Rady's Rides merch. Got to give it up to Big Sweaty Big Guns McGee. He's sweating out of every pore here. We've actually got an IV with fluids. Don't worry, Tom. Everything's going to be okay. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.